New day, new creepypasta. This time around, we're going into the backstory of the Rake. Out of all the creepypastas there are on my list, I think the Rake is the one that gives me the most chills. And that's also telling the fact. That's also saying something, considering later on down the line, there's also going to be creepypastas for that. Also going to be going over Smile Dog and Dead Bart and even Lavender Town Syndrome and Lost Silver. But no, out of all those, the Rake is the one that gives me the most chills. And I don't understand why. I think it's just based on how his backstory is, maybe? I don't know. But I don't want to drone on too long, so without further introduction, let's get into this. Alrighty, I think it's about time we get into the backstory of the Rake. As I prepare to take my life, I feel it necessary to assuage any guilt or pain I have introduced through this act. It is not the fault of anyone other than him, for once I awoke and felt his presence, and once I awoke and saw his form. Once again I awoke and heard his voice, and I looked into his eyes. I cannot sleep without fear of what I might next awake to experience. I cannot ever wake. Goodbye. A suicide note from 1964 detailing the author's experience with the Rake. Look at the Rake right here. Jeez. The Rake is the titular main antagonist of the creepypasta story of the same name. It is a humanoid creature with large teeth and claws that stalks its victims and appears at the end of their beds as they sleep, or in the woods, or in their houses. Since 2006, pictures, fan art, and video blogs have been made of the monster, including numerous allusions in the Slenderverse YouTube series Everyman Hybrid. The Rake originated on 4chan's /b/board in late 2005. A thread was started by an anonymous user who started, "Hey, /b/. Let's make a new monster." Naturally, there were many ideas, but one stood out, and another user created a new thread based on this idea. The thread started with this post. "Alright, this is for the people who like the 3 eyes, no apparent mouth, pale skin one. Here's what we've got so far. Humanoid, about 6 feet tall when standing, but usually crouches and walks on all fours. It has very pale skin, the face is blank, and is no nose, no mouth. However, it has 3 solid green eyes, one in the middle on its forehead, and the other 2 on either side of its head, towards the back. Usually seen in front yards in suburban areas, usually just watches the observer, but will stand up and attack if approached. When it attacks, a mouth opens up, and if an unhinged skull that opens at chin reveals many tiny but dull teeth." Wait a second, let me see the picture. Somewhat close. The creature eventually formed into what we now know as the Rake. The Rake went through many design and name changes during its beginning. One of the more prevalent names was Operation Crawler. Before are a couple of the checkpoints from the thread where it originated, which were the following. "6 feet tall is good, humanoid, pale grayish skin, 2 large eyes on the front of the head because of trips, as random number, and nature, no nose, mouth that is slightly visible, then opens on a hinge, hundreds of dull but not blunt teeth, eats meat genitals." Don't matter because no interviews really talk about that's seen in suburban areas, minding its own business, attacks when approached, but mostly just stares at people, looks human enough to be able to disguise with fedora and trench coat of similar. That's confusing. Revised again. Approximately 6 feet tall, but seen crouching, humanoid, pale, grayish skin, 2 slightly larger than human eyes, no nose, mouth that is smaller than a human, but when provoked or attacked, opens freely on a hinge down on the neckline, showing hundreds of dull but not blunt teeth. Unknown origin, unknown diet, seen in suburban areas, opens its mouth and widens its eyes when provoked. Attacks when approached if not provoked or approached. Just stares. So it attacks when you approach it, but if you don't provoke or approach it, it just stares at you. But 6 feet tall. 6 feet tall when it stands up? Wait, that means I'm taller than it by 3 inches. By 3 inches, I'm taller than the Rake. The first and most well-known story about the Rake was posted to the personal blog of Something Awful user Brian Somerville on July 20th, 2006. It was the first story in a series entitled Horror Theater, but Somerville does not indicate if the text was taken from another website or if it was written specifically for that blog post. According to the mythology, first-hand accounts of the Rake has been described as early as in the 12th century and documented for the first time in 1691. I'm sorry, you're telling me that the first sightings of the Rake was back in the 12th century? You're joking, right? That ranges... We're talking about a year span from 1100 to 1199. We had no chance. We have no way to make proof of that. No way to write it down. Because if I remember correctly, it took a while until like late 1600s, mid 1700s before paper was invented, wasn't it? I might be wrong on that. Anyway, back to the backstory. Sorry if I got sidetracked. Spread. Repost of the Rake Creepypasta began appearing on LiveJournal as early as December 2008. The story made its way to 4chan's /x paranormal board by April 2009 and to Something Awful by June of that year. In August 2010, the story was first posted to the paranormal subreddit. The Rake was eventually added to horror story databases including Creepypasta.com, Creepypasta Wikia, and Creepypasta Index. It was also featured on several paranormal related websites including Unexplained Mysteries and The Slender Nation. In December 2010, single topic blog Fuck Yeah, The Rake was launched on Tumblr, providing a centralized site for the Creepypasta's sightings and fan art about the myth. That month, a picture of a monster character from the first-person shooter game Resistance 3, known as a Grim, appeared on a local news station in Louisiana, with the reporter stating a viewer took the photo at a local hunting ground. Due to the Grim's similar build and features as the one described in the Rake story, many YouTube commenters interpreted it as this monster. And it's from a game called Resistance 3. I need to look that game up later. If I look up Resistance 3 and it says Xbox 360, I'm playing that game as well. The image was taken on November 30th, 2010 and gained widespread traction across the internet to a point in which large local news stations were talking about it. Nobody had an idea on what to make of this terrifying ordeal until it was later revealed to be a Resistance 3 game hoax. The Rake is described as a pale, thin, and naked humanoid figure or a large, deformed, hairless dog. It's often seen as having white eyes. The Rake also has incredibly sharp claws, which is why it's dubbed the Rake. Yep. Personality. Yeah. The Rake is very mysterious, but it seems to be quite sadistic, cruel, and misanthropic, preferring to stalk, torture, and then murder its victims. The Rake is not always evil, sometimes it just prances around in the wilderness. If it gets looked at or pictured, it will either attack or stalk you, and then kill you later. Nevertheless, the Rake is still a dangerous threat who will not hesitate to slaughter anyone in a sadistic and mysterious way. Powers and abilities. The Rake is a feral misanthrope who will not hesitate to kill anyone who it deems to get in its way. Its strength, stealth, and speed allow it to be able to get the better of humans and overpower them with ease, and maneuver around destinations quickly without being seen, and able to utilize its rake-like claws as a weapon, able to inflict massive damage to the victim. It doesn't seem to be able to take physical damage, or has been attempted to be captured. The Rake's existence is unclear. It is rumored to have been a human at one point that was mutated and gifted in immortality, which seems likely due to its humanoid appearance. It is also possible that the Rake is some kind of alien from another world or planet. That could be true. That could be true. The Rake has been alive for hundreds of years, dating back to the 17th century, proving it to be an immortal entity. Dating back to the 17th century, but despite the fact that it said some first-hand accounts of the Rake has been described as early as the 12th century and documented the first time in 1691, that's the 17th century, yeah. But like I said earlier, there was no way to prove it was actually seen back in the 12th century. Has connections to the Slender Man. Okay, the creator's name is unknown. The Rake was inspired by H.P. Lovecraft. Huh. And there's the picture. I am not zooming in on that thing. That thing is horrific. Hey you. Yes you, behind the camera. Thanks for sticking around till the end. Hey, this entire month of October 2022, there's going to be one creepypasta video a day throughout the entire month. So, if you don't want to miss the chance of catching the next one being uploaded, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, ring the bell for notification. And if you really liked this video, make sure to leave a like on the video as well. Put a comment down below, tell me what you thought of it. But other than that, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.